Here's what's been holding you back your whole life. Are you ready for this? So most people try to accomplish goals, whether they're trying to create more wealth or whether they're trying to create better relationships. And they try to do this through sheer willpower alone. They just try harder, right? They might meditate, they might set goals, they might practice their discipline, or they might shortcut it all together by taking pills or drugs. But no matter what they do, something feels off. But what if that problem isn't with your mind, but if something that's shaping your thoughts, your emotions, your focus without you even realizing it? What if that force is actually your five senses: sight, sound, scent, taste, and touch? You see, your senses aren't just inputs. They are the foundation for how you think, feel, and experience reality. And in today's world, where we are constantly bombarded by artificial simulation everywhere, most of us have lost control of our five senses. So this video is going to show you how to take back control. So how do your senses shape your reality? Well, if you really want to know how this happens, I want you to imagine waking up in a pitch black room. There's no light, there's no sound, there's zero texture. There's no way to tell where you are. So then you ask the question, well, how do you even know who you are? Because isn't your entire sense of self built on what you see, hear, feel, taste, and smell? Even your inner voice is an extension of your senses, and science actually backs this up. You see, sound doesn't just help you hear, it tells you where you are in space. If you close your eyes and listen, you can hear echoes, you can hear the distance of voices, you can hear the subtle hum of electronics. There's always some electronics humming somewhere. They all paint a map of your surroundings, and without sound, everything kind of collapses into a void. And then there's smell, which isn't just about fragrance, it's directly tied to your memory and your survival. Think back, right? You can instantly smell something and go, oh, it's disgusting. You know that's probably not good for you. Or you smell something and it instantly brings back really strong emotions and memories tied to maybe that cologne. Oh, that reminds me of my grandfather. It's not just about nostalgia, it's directly tied to memory and that survival. And then there's touch, which isn't just about feeling objects and using it. It anchors you into your reality. It regulates your nervous system. You could have deep pressure that could indicate relaxation, maybe like a massage, but even the subtlest touch could indicate danger. You might get stress from it. So our touch, or sense of touch, if we lose it, people will experience anxiety, disconnection, even hallucinations. And then there's vision, and that's not just about sight, it's about attention. So it dictates what you notice and what you ignore. In today's world, well, what do you have? Your attention is hijacked. Screens flood you with artificial images that fracture your focus and make it harder to be in the present. So what do? We scroll, we swipe, we consume, but we never really see anything. And then there's taste, which people would say, oh, it's all about a pleasure, but it's not. It's about trust. Your body evolved to taste food and know that food is safe. I mean, think about bitter meant poison, sweet meant energy, and then now modern food has rewired that instinct. Your taste buds have been hijacked. They've been hacked. Sugar lights up your brain like a drug. Artificial flavors trick you into craving something that doesn't nourish you. You think you're choosing what to eat, but your taste has already been manipulated before you even put the food in your mouth. You think you're making decisions, but your senses are actually making those decisions for you. And the problem is most of us are completely numb to this idea. But we weren't always like this. You see, if you go back 100 years, maybe 200 years, life was different. Okay? People worked with their hands. They walked barefoot on the earth. They were grounded. They ate real food. They heard real silence. They felt real sensations. But now, what do we have? We live in a world that is designed to numb us. Screens overload our vision. Noise pollution keeps our nervous system wired. We eat processed food that's destroyed our taste. We touch glass screens more than we touch human skin. And what's the result of all this? It's anxiety, it's stress, it's brain fog, it's this constant sense of disconnection from everybody, especially post-COVID, right? If you think about modern life, you think you're just living modern life, but in reality, your body is starved for sensory input. So what do? We take caffeine, we take Ozempic, we take Adderall, we take Xanax, we take. So how do we take back control? How do we fix this? How do we actually start experiencing life again? Well, this is where we're going to go from doom and gloom to thank goodness there's a better way. We're going to shift the narrative real quick. You're going to do an exercise with me. Don't worry, it doesn't matter where you are. So you could be sitting at home, you could be behind a desk at work, you could even be driving in a car. You can still do this exercise. It's actually 5 exercises, and each one is going to focus on a specific sense. We're going to start off with sound. I want you to take a few moments and just listen. What are the first 3 sounds you noticed? Maybe it's the hum of air conditioner, maybe it's distant traffic, maybe it's a squeaky chair, something. Right? You got those. Okay, now I want you to reset your attention. So if you can, real quick, just make a small noise. You can clap your hands, you can snap your fingers, or if you're somewhere quiet and you don't want to make a lot of noise, just rub your hands together by your ear. And this creates a small reset. It kind of clears your brain's habitual filtering. So that exercise we just did is called passive listening. You let sounds come to you. But now we're going to shift to active listening. So I want you to choose one of those 3 sounds, and I want you to focus on it completely. I want you to clear out every other sound and listen for that. Can you hear any fluctuations or changes that you didn't notice before? The way the AC hum isn't actually steady, but it has a slight variations. I know when I used to have the AC or fan that would run, I would almost be like, I would make it into like a song, like it's a beat, because I could hear the individual right? This is the difference between passive and active listening. See, most of the time, we hear life in a passive mode. Sounds come to us, but when you shift to active mode, the world all of a sudden becomes richer. So now we're going to do the same thing with sight. Ready? Wherever you are, I want you to shift your focus. And I want you to look around and find something that you haven't noticed before. If you're driving, maybe there's a house that you've passed 100 times, but you've never even noticed. Or if you have noticed it, and you never really looked at it. Or if you're at home, maybe there's a tiny crack on your coffee cup and you never realized that crack goes all the way up to the handle. Or maybe there's a pattern in the wall that you've never noticed before. I want you to actively search for something new. You see, the human brain is designed to tune out familiarity. Once you see it and you can deem it safe, then you kind of tune that out so you can look and search for other dangers. It filters out things it considers unimportant. But what if the key to presence is training yourself to see what's already there? This isn't just an exercise, it's a way of rebuilding your attention. And now we can shift that to taste. If you have something nearby, some kind of food or drink, I want you to grab it. And I want you to take a sip or a bite. So I've got coffee right here. There's actual coffee in there. And I take that. Now, I want you to actually taste it. Is it bitter? Is it sweet? Is it sour? What is your immediate reaction? So I've got an immediate reaction to this. And now I want you to ask yourself, did you react to the actual taste, or did you react to what you already know about that food or drink? You see, our brain pre-processes taste. We're going to do an example here. This is pretty crazy. I want you to think about eating the most sour candy or sour lemon you've ever had in the world. Did you notice that just talking about that and thinking about it made your mouth water? Your body started producing extra saliva in preparation for the sourness. You didn't have to eat it. You didn't have to taste it. Just thinking about it caused a physical change in your body. I mean, that's crazy, right? Well, this happens in everything in life. We experience things based on our expectation, not necessarily on our reality. But if you train your taste to be more aware, then you start experiencing things as they truly are. And now we can do this with touch. Right now, I want you to rub your hands together. You feel the friction and you feel the warmth. So you can feel the temperature changes. You can feel your skin kind of peeling against each other. And now I want you to take your hands and I want you to start rubbing them on something that has texture nearby. So you can put it on your shirt, on your fabric, on your wood table, whatever. And I want you to slowly rub your fingers over it and pay attention to the ridges. Pay attention to how soft or hard it is, if it's bendy or flexible. We do this because I want you to think about when was the last time you actually, truly, intentionally felt something. not a long time. I don't know when the last time I actually tried to touch something. You remember when you're kids, or if you look at kid books, a lot of times kid books will have like ridges or spirals, and there's sensories for the kids to understand different textures. But now the only time we touch things or feel things is when we're trying to use it. I feel this because I'm trying to use it. But touch is one of the most fundamental human senses, but modern life has completely dulled it because we live in a world of glass screens. Everything is made out of smooth plastic or paper. Everything's paper or plastic, right? But if you go out into nature, modern life has texture. And the biggest way we can experience this is with the final sense, is smell, which is the most underutilized but has the most potential to impact your daily life. Right now, I want you to take a deep breath to reset yourself. Okay, now if you have something scented nearby, grab it or smell it. I've got coffee, so I can smell this. But maybe you have perfume on your shirt, or you've got a donut or whatever. I want you to smell it. And I want you to let it pull a memory to the surface. Where does that scent take you? What moment, what place, what feeling does it bring back? You see, your sense of smell is unique because it's the only sense that is linked directly to your brain's memory center. The rest of your senses all have to travel through multiple portions of the brain, but your sense of smell is unique. It goes directly to the limbic system in your brain, which houses the amygdala and your hippocampus, which is where your memory and emotions are stored. And so it doesn't just remind you of the past, it actually transports you there. This means that your environment and the sense that you surround yourself with directly shape your emotions and your state of mind. So you can use this as a tool. If you want to feel energized, if you want to feel focused, there are scientific studies that have shown that you can use something like citrus or peppermint, and they can create physiological changes in your body to increase alertness and focus. It's like taking a limitless pill. Just like the thought of eating a sour candy caused psychological changes in your body that made you salivate. The same thing can happen with scent. As a matter of fact, I can show you many different techniques to pair a specific scent with any mindset you want on command. So it's like you smell it, boom, you can shift into focus. You can shift into a calm state. You can all of a sudden get confidence. Because smell is a tool, most people just don't use it. So here's what you've been missing. Okay, these exercises aren't just drills, they're a reintroduction to reality. For most of your life, your brain has been filtering out all of these details. Not because they don't matter, but because you've stopped paying attention. But now you're aware of it. Imagine what else you've been missing. Okay? Imagine how much more alive, clear, and present you'd feel if you trained your senses to work for you against you. Just imagine what's possible. And that's exactly what we're about to do. Okay? I'm going to show you exactly how to start rewiring your sensory experience of the world. Because you have a choice to be numb or alive. Now that you've felt the difference, you have to ask yourself one thing, okay? Do you want to go back to the way things were? You can keep sleepwalking through life, wake up, you scroll, you eat whatever you want, you feel disconnected, you wonder nothing never changes. Or do you want to be a person who actually experiences life? There's two kind of people, and I'm going to use a little matrix reference here, blue pill, red pill. But there's two people. There's person A who lives the numb life, okay? Every morning they wake up and the first thing they see is a screen. They start scrolling through social media, they check their emails, and then they go over and they have to drink their coffee, but they might as well be water because they don't actually taste it. They just drink it to get that caffeine rush. And then there's silence, so they fill that silence with noise. They listen to podcasts, TV, social media, anything to avoid being alone with their thoughts. And then they have to eat food, right? So they just eat what's convenient. The first thing that's in there, they don't eat what's good. They barely even remember any of the meals they've ever eaten. Their days then just start blending together. Weeks vanish, months disappear. And the worst part of this is they don't realize that they're numb. They just think that this is how life is. But there's another person. There's person B. That's someone who is fully alive and they live a fully alive life. So they wake up, but they feel the morning air on their skin and then they smell it too. And then they go on and they smell their coffee and they smell it before they drink it. And when they do drink it, they actually taste the bitterness, the warmth of it. And then they go outside and they walk and they feel the ground beneath their feet. They notice the textures of the sidewalk, the sound of the leaves. And then they go to eat and they pay attention to that first bite. Is it sweet? Is it soft? Is it tangy, soft, crisp? The world isn't just something to get through, it's something to experience. And because of this, they remember life differently, okay? Their past is rich with texture, color, depth. They feel time. They aren't just existing, they are fully alive. And here's the thing, okay? This isn't just a one-time realization, this is a skill. Just like you train your body to get stronger, we lift weights, we run, etc., you can train your senses to become sharper, clearer, and more powerful. And this is exactly how athletes, like a baseball player, can track a moving ball coming out at them 100 miles an hour and hit a home run. Chefs can instantly recognize spices just by their taste alone. Musicians can pick out the slightest difference in tone or pitch of a single instrument in an entire orchestra, or people like monks who can use scent like incense and breathing techniques to instantly shift their focus into these really, really intense, deep states of focus. They weren't born with these abilities, they trained for it, and you can too. Now, how can you train your senses? Well, there's a couple different ways to do this. And on this channel, that's kind of the purpose of this, is to show you the methods and the science-backed ways to do this. For example, we can do vision training, which can improve focus, reaction time, even dopamine levels, which can make you feel more alert and engaged. Or we can do scent-based training, where it can actually condition your brain to automatically shift states on command. And this can help improve your focus or memory when you're studying for exam, or it can instantly relax you if you're having a panic attack. I mean, it's all possible through training your senses. Because the truth is, you have a superpower. This is crazy. You have a superpower. You've just never trained it. Me, I had never trained it, okay? But over the last few years, I have been absolutely obsessed with finding practical ways to harness the power of our senses to unlock our human potential. Because I, like most people, I used to think that our senses were fixed. You know, dogs have these superpower smellers, but humans were kind of limited. But they're not. You can rewire them. You can train yourself to see more, to hear more, to taste more, feel more, experience more. And when you do, guess what happens? Life slows down. The world feels richer. You feel more in control. You stop rushing through life and start actually experiencing it. This is a choice. And the best part of this, you already started this by watching this video. You've already made a choice, whether you realize it or not. You're either training yourself to be numb, or you're training yourself to feel more alive. If you do nothing after this video, you're gonna go back to the way things were. You're gonna wake up tomorrow, you're gonna check your phone first thing in the morning, you're gonna eat food that you don't taste, and you just let life disappear without realizing it or feeling it. But if you're ready to change that, if you're ready to reclaim your senses, to actually feel more, focus more, perform better, and experience life on a deeper level, then join me on this journey. Go ahead and subscribe, because this is just the beginning.